Amazon Prime show. The Spider-Noir series is produced by Amazon Prime Video and Sony. In this series, one of Spider-Man's characters is revealed in a very mysterious way. Then, after watching it, one question asked among the audience was, does this series have the same heroes that we saw in the animated Spider-Verse movies? The answer is no, because in the series, a character asks the hero which universe he comes from. The hero replies that this is the only world he knows. This one answer caused an uproar online, with viewers saying it was a copy series based on the animated Spider-Verse movie. On the other hand, the live-action hero's name is Ben Reilly, which clearly shows that they are two completely different characters, through which the audience later understands that the Spider-Noir series is a new version, which has no match to the characters from any other movie. The origin of the comic book idea. The idea of Spider-Man Noir was first thought up by Free Sobolski, who was a comic book journalist. He shared his idea with David Hine. After Hine introduced the idea to Marvel, he liked it so much that they used it to launch the Marvel Noir comic book series in 2008, where Spider-Man is chosen for the entire brand. This particular story takes place on Earth 90214, where Peter Parker was much younger, raised by his Aunt May and Uncle Ben. His aunt and uncle worked for the community, providing food and a safe place to stay for those who were financially poor and homeless. Peter grew up with his Uncle Ben. He learned from Ben that if those in power cannot be trusted, it is the citizens' responsibility to remove them from office. To retaliate for this harsh response, corrupt Mayor Norman Osborn was hired. The Goblin sends his villains to kill Uncle Ben. After this incident, Peter becomes very angry. Peter's power. The day Peter learns that Ben reporter Urich has passed out from drug use, his life changes forever. When Urich's call reaches Peter, he learns that the Goblin criminal gang has been secretly smuggling the statue. To investigate this, Peter accidentally drops a criminal's object, which breaks and many scary spiders come out of it. The spiders are not ordinary at all. They kill the criminal after they come out and bite him. Then the spiders bite Peter. Then Peter falls into a hallucination. He sees a giant spider god standing in front of him. The god told Peter that these spiders only kill bad people, but Peter was a good person. The god gave Peter the spider's web as a reward. J. Jonah Jameson's secrets. J. Jonah Jameson was an ordinary newspaper editor, but behind his good face was a terrible side. Peter did not know his bad side. When he first stepped into the world of crime, he learned that Jameson considered Urich his mentor because Ben Urich was a bigger mafia don than Jameson. Peter began to hate Ben Urich, who took bribes from the goblins to keep his evil deeds a secret. Then Peter himself stopped working with the mafia. But the next day, another truth was revealed. That day, Jonah Jameson killed Urich for his own interests, and this was the biggest shock in Peter's life. From then on, he changed. Doctor Octavius. Spider-Man's villain Doctor Otto Octavius used to conduct scientific experiments, but the way he is presented in noir comics would fail even horror movies, because here he is shown as a hardcore Nazi scientist. The experiments that were conducted on humans in his lab were horrible. He would forcefully grab helpless people from the streets of New York and perform brain surgery on them so that they would lose their own memory. Octavius's main goal was to create a slave labor force like Hitler's robots, who would obey his every command. This was not a made-up story, but rather some of the real infamous trials in American history were directly portrayed through these comics, which made this series even more popular. The Tragedy of the Black Cat. Felicia Hardy, or Black Cat, was Spider-Man's mysterious lover, who ran her own bar and kept up with all the news about the criminal world. Felicia helps Spider-Man when the Mafia Don seeks to take power after the fall of Norman Goblin. That's why the Mafia gang kidnapped him and slashed his face with a sharp knife. After this terrible incident, Felicia began wearing a mask to hide her face from the world. Shattered dimensions. The basis for the Spider-Man fighting scene in the cinema was created through a 2010 video game. The game was called Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. This game was the first to take Spider-Man Noir out of the comic book pages and bring it to the masses. Noir's role in the game was completely different. There, he would hang from walls and kill enemies without making a sound, just like a dark detective. Dan Slott was behind the script for this game. The game was such a super hit that Marvel executives gave Dan Slott the permanent responsibility of writing their original comics. And from the successful idea of this game, Dan Slott later created the famous Spider-Verse comic event in 2014, which has now become a blockbuster movie worldwide. Corporate culture. When big corporate brands like Marvel and Disney take charge of something, they often ruin the essence of a great thing for the sake of business. That's exactly what happened with Spider-Man Noir. When the character became so popular after the 2018 film, Into the Spider-Verse, then Disney completely erased the serious and political aspects of it, in an attempt to make it more accessible to the general audience. In the new 2025 comic series, the Noir who once shot and killed criminals is now playing cheap jokes like a regular Spider-Man and having funny fights with villains in comic book style. The story even introduces an alien frog character named Mr. Toad, which ruins the entire mood of this dark universe. This tragic hero has been turned into what he is today, mainly to sell toys and avoid corporate controversy, comics, and politics. Many people get annoyed when they see politics in comic books or superhero movies and say, "What's the point of bringing politics into these?" But the truth is, comic books were born out of politics. Many years ago, in 1940, when the first Captain America comic book was released, America had not yet officially joined World War. But that comic shows Captain America punching Hitler directly in the face with a huge punch. This political and bold move angered American supporters so much that they challenged the comic's creator, Jack Kirby, to a direct fight. Jack Kirby also ran out of the studio to kill him, though he later fled in fear. Spider-Man Noir was also a political protest, designed to speak out against exploitation. Ben Reilly. All in all, Nicolas Cage deserves a lot of praise. He portrayed the character of Ben Reilly in a very funny way. His character is not seen much in the movie, but he is not an ordinary character. He does not accept any obstacles. Everyone gives in to him because he is a great killer. He never lets his enemies live. If anyone stands in his way, he will shoot and kill them without a second thought. This version of the Spider is very scary. At the end of the night, when he is tired, he hangs on the wall, but then his strength to fight increases even more. He could then get angry and go into a crowd of people and kick and punch everyone until they bleed to death. Ben Reilly is the most violent Spider-Man to have appeared in live action so far. Series color differences and villains. There has been much debate online about whether viewers should watch this series in black and white or in color. Looking at it from both sides, you can see that there is a different beauty when viewed in color that cannot be enjoyed when viewed in black and white. The night scenes are very captivating when viewed in color, and when viewed in black and white, it gives the impression of an old movie. I think this should be left entirely up to the individual viewer. Even off-screen, the characters in this series are portrayed in a way where they show their power in front of everyone without any fear. Ben Reilly was especially prominent in his performance as the villain. He's a drug-addicted superhero. He is depressed about life and has lost faith in himself. He drinks alcohol every day to forget his sorrows and the past. He speaks ill of anyone who comes his way. He is a character who has lost his humanity. His struggle to regain his humanity is the main attraction of this movie as we watch it until the end. Weaknesses of an older Spider-Man. There are now mixed opinions online about Spider-Man Noir. Some say it's the most powerful Spider-Man they've ever seen. Viewers have assumed that Spider-Man Noir's strength is due to his web and bite nature. He is by no means superior in these abilities. Any Spider-Man could easily kill this guy in a real fight. Its power stems from military experiments. where German scientists conducted gruesome experiments on creatures like lizards, electric eels, insects, and spiders. A specific animal was used for the experiment, into which a person would insert DNA, which transformed the animal into a terrifying spider-human hybrid. And this spider bit Ben Reilly. But many people died because of this mutation. But Ben was not affected. He has adapted the powers of that terrifying spider to his health. At the same time, Ben Reilly loses his previous form. We see him on screen as a very old man. His health has deteriorated due to drinking too much alcohol. He becomes so weak that ordinary goons can beat him up. When he fights a goon, it feels like he's going to die, but that makes his strength even more brutal because he has to use strength to survive. Spider-Man. This series did a fantastic job with Spider-Man's aura.